Hello everyone. We're starting day 4 of the TIE Fighter build. Went to Hobby Lobby and got a few things. One, I got some amazing mold rubber kits. This is made by, it says on here somewhere, I remember reading it somewhere, Alumilite. Yeah, Alumilite Corporation. It appears to be the same thing you buy in the model section. I bought this in the jewelry making section. It appears to be the same thing you buy in the model section for $10 more. It's the same bottles and everything on the inside. I opened the boxes to look. So get it in the jewelry section. It's $10 cheaper. I bought some mold release. Probably not the good one, but it should be okay. I bought some red transparent dye, probably more red resin dye than I'm ever going to use in my life. And I had this from an earlier project, the curing agents there. Guess what? That's solid as a rock. I remember reading somewhere that resin doesn't last very long once you open it, and well, I didn't believe them. I guess I should have, because it's solid as a rock. This is no good. Good thing I got two, because the other one is not solid. But that tells me I need to use it up pretty quick. Okay? So I'm going to work on casting up those two pieces today. I'm going to go for a 2-part cast, although that stuff probably would handle a 1-part. Let me see if I can find those two pieces that are in here. Okay? This shouldn't be too hard to cast. I don't need very deep mold because they're not very big. I would like to cast them in clear though. I'm going to clean up all the nib marks and stuff off them first. There's not many of them. I could do that as a 1-part. I could do that as a 1-part like this. They're just so thin, you know. I'm afraid they won't cast very well. We will see, won't we? Okay. They're not very thick though, and that worries me a little bit, and it's kind of a complex shape. Time for some experimentation, right? I got more than enough in one of these boxes. I got 2 boxes of this in case I screw up. But I probably won't need more than 1 box. These aren't all that big. I want to cast each. I don't want to make 2 copies of this. They're keyed for each side. These pins on the alignment pins on the bottom don't line up perfectly with each side. Maybe they do. That looks like they do. They just stack in there perfectly. Interesting. So maybe I can make one mold and then do both sides. We will see. And again, these parts are so thin, I might have trouble clear casting them in one mold. So we'll see. I'll do some thinking about it. I've watched plenty of videos on how to do this. It's about time I tried it. So you're seeing me thinking on camera. Trying to figure out how to do this. I'm going to get the Legos out, that's for sure. And make a mold with the Legos. Make a couple of molds with Legos. Since their parts are identical. I didn't think they were identical. I thought that it mattered which side they went on. Let me open this box back up again. And get the floorboard back out. Well, I'll be darned. They do go on either side. I just tried them. Okay? So that's not a problem at all. It's just I see very few resin parts of shapes like this. That's what worries me a little bit. Anyhow, let me see what I can do. The other option, and again, they're too thick to transmit too much light. The other option is to get the sander out and just sand each square down individually until it's almost paper thin. That'll reduce some of the structural integrity though. So let me get cracking, see what I can figure out. I'm going to try to make casts before I start destroying parts. So I'll be back in a little bit. Also, went over to my hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. Subway tile, 25 cents. Pretty big piece of tile for cutting photo etch on. Just got an email. So we're going to give this a try today and see if it's an improvement over my yellow board. Yellow board's okay, but the knife does sink into it a little bit. The red one, the knife sinks far too much. I end up with some of the photo etch parts embedded in the board, those tiny ones, and having to pick them out with tweezers. This should fix all that. 25 cents, a nice hard piece of ceramic. Finished it's got a mirror-like finish on it. I didn't waste much money if it doesn't work, but I bet it works fine. I will show you cutting on that in a little bit. So let me get busy. I'll figure out how I'm going to mold this. This thing says that it's a very flexible mold, so I might be able to mold this in one piece. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out with a one-piece mold. The only thing that worries me is it gets wider on these ends, so I'd have to cut the mold to get it back out eventually. Not only that, it's a thin piece, so it's not using much clear. And how do I know I get all the clear resin down to the bottom with no air bubbles? I'm going to have to put it in a vibrator of some kind to vibrate the air bubbles out. So we'll see. I'm going to get busy. Alright everyone. I was thinking about how in the world you mold something that thin and get a good consistent pour out of it. I know it can be done, but I don't have a lot of experience with it. And then the thought occurred, what's important is the inside shape, not the outside shape. There's plenty of room in there, and I can always get a Dremel and file or sand or gouge out the outsides. It doesn't have to be perfectly clear resin, just pretty much opaque. Then I was thinking, Oyamaru. I had a whole bunch of Oyamaru. What this is, it's a casting compound. Okay, you heat it up in boiling water, it becomes really soft, and put it in the freezer and it becomes really hard. This is room temperature now, and it's somewhat flexible. It's a little bit like rubber, but you can use it over and over and over again. And I was using it with the Godzilla skin. I made an imprint of this guy, and I also had it sitting on a lid in the freezer. I don't know if you can see, just sitting on that lid, it picked up the imprint of the lid. I don't know if you can see that in reflected light or not. It's hard for me to tell with the camera. Yeah, you can there. Okay, so I'm going to try this first. Now, I don't have paper cups, and I get the feeling that I should be mixing this resin in paper cups. Because, well, I think the resin's just going to eat these cups. I had a problem with the resin eating plastic before. So, I got me a glass jar. No need to see what was in the other side. It was salsa. My wife calls it tomato water because it is not spicy. Not according to her standards. I'm going to get the clear resin. I'm going to read the dye description here. I'm going to mix this stuff up and pour some in. I don't need a whole lot of this stuff. You can see that. Okay? Just don't need. Add 1 drop at a time to achieve desired color. Add white for pastel colors. Add dark colors to lighten colors when blending. Shake container up vigorously before using. Okay, well, that was that. The one problem I have is this glass cup is so deep. And I don't need that much resin. I don't think I have anything else around here to work with. Everything else is plastic. I'll have to get some paper cups. And I'm pretty sure that resin is just going to eat its way through anything plastic. We do not need that in our lives. No. Okay, so I'm going to... Ooh. Stainless steel, anyone? I really don't think that resin's going to ruin these guys. And I'm pretty sure the least, I can heat this up and burn the resin out. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to mix it in that because I don't need more than what's in this. And I don't think I'll ruin this. So we're good to go. I'm going to get the resin. Don't know if I really need the mold release on this stuff. I'm going to read the directions. I'll be back when I'm ready to go and let you guys see what I'm doing. Well, everyone, disappointment. Both bottles of resin were solid cord. So this casting experiment's going to have to wait until tomorrow. I'll go get some clear resin tomorrow. Almost picked some up, but I was like, I got 2 cans of it. It'll be fine. The 2 cans were a good 4 years old. Yeah, people told me resin has a fixed shelf life. I now believe them. But I got plenty of hardener. I won't run out of that anytime soon. So I'll go get some tomorrow. The mold's ready. We'll give that a try with the Oya Maru. And I am going to work on photo etch. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll be back in a little bit.